Good morning, Elmira Baptist Church. I am looking through a book that I received a couple of years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago now. One of my cousins gave me a large book, and it's the New York Times. You can't read all of that, but New York Times page 1 covers. My cousin knew that I was interested in history, and so here in the book, I'll fix it. Yeah, there we go. Here in the book, it just shows you what does the New York Times look like for some various historical events. I was thinking about this book the other day. I saw it on my shelf, and I thought, I wonder what it has to say about the Spanish flu. So I went back, starting the first cover in 1918 was July 21st. It's about World War I. They have another cover from September 16th, 1918, dealing with Austria's surrender. They've got another one here, October 29th, more about Austria going out of the war, soldiers being captured. One here for November 10th, of course. That's the day before the armistice began, which was November 11th, 1918. Then, of course, the next day is November 11th. They have January 22nd of 1919. Just a lot of different things dealing with wrapping up the war there. January 26th, the League of Nations. They've got a headline there. Final peace was signed in June. They've got a headline, and then they go on talking about the next election. In all of these page ones in this New York Times, in this book of the New York Times front covers, not one of them is about the Spanish flu. Not one of them is about a pandemic that killed literally 50 million people around the world. Now, the book was printed, if you look at the cover page here, the book was printed in 1997, so maybe it didn't seem so important then. I don't know. I didn't pick the covers. Maybe there were other covers that talked about the Spanish flu and different things. Obviously, there had to have been. But my point is today, as strange as our current situation is, as unusual as it seems to us, bizarre even, it's likely that 50, 60, 70 years from now, it'll just be a footnote in the page of history. The pandemic of 2020, when they shut down the country for 2 months or 3 months or however long it'll turn out to be. And that gives me hope. Things aren't always going to be this way. There's going to be a return to normal. Things will, and I say normal, there may be some variations, some things we do differently in the future, but they'll be more normal and we'll feel like we're living again. Well, this is your daily Elmira Baptist Church update for Tuesday, May 19th, 2020, and I have a lot of information for you today. If you'd put up that first overlay for me, we have a lot of information for you today, and it's because, by God's grace and in with His wisdom, we want to make it possible for some of you to attend the in-person services at Elmira Baptist Church at 6111 California Pacific Road. Remember, the church is not the building. The church is the people. And we've been scattered. Not necessarily a bad thing. Salt is scattered and is a good thing, but been scattered, and now we want to make it possible for some of us to meet. I mentioned this on Sunday, and I have some more direction today, some more instructions. We have a document that is the kernel for our policies and plans as Elmira Baptist Church to meet, and I want to share those with you today. But first of all, I would like to mention the families that, first of all, that safety and prudence is our number one concern. as I go through this, I know some of you may see things differently. Some of you may wonder why we're taking so many precautions. Some of you may wonder why we're not taking more. As I mentioned before, it's going to take grace for us to respond to each other with kindness and with patience. But your safety is very important to me. And if you do not feel safe coming to an in-person service at the church building, please stay home. We will continue to live stream the services so that you can participate from home and be safe. I mentioned also that we'll need to break up the families into break up the church into smaller groups, and we've done that by families. So these are the families, the groupings that we have for Sunday, May 24th, 2020. And frankly, just want to let you know up front, we all need to be flexible and adaptable. Even between today and Sunday, things may change. And because safety and prudence is our number one concern, we will not have in-person services on Sunday if it's not safe. So please, be flexible, be adaptable. We're going to divide the church into 3 groups and hold the same service 3 times. The first time will be at 11 a.m. and we'll invite those families whose last names begin with A through I to the service. Then we'll have a second service. It'll be the same service, same music, same sermon at 1 p.m. And we'll invite those families with the last name of J through O. And then there'll be a service at 5 o'clock. And again, the same service as 11, same service at 1, same songs, same sermon. And that one will be for families P through Z, whose last names begin with P through Z. It's important that we maintain proper social distance, and that's why we've broken this down into 3 groups. We will live stream the 11 o'clock service. That will stay up throughout the day as it always does, and you may watch that at your convenience. But that will be the 1 live stream on Sunday rather than the 2 that we have been doing. I don't know how long we'll be doing it this way. A week, 2 weeks, a month, I don't know right now, but I will communicate with you as soon as I know. Now, what I want to do at this point is to talk about some of our policies and procedures and plans. Let's go on to the next one there. Policies and procedures and plans for the church. I'm borrowing this from another preacher. We are not going back to normal immediately. But we also don't want this season of caution to become a season of spiritual drought and disobedience for our church. So with counsel and patience, I've been considering how to meet again at our church's buildings. I've consulted with the deacons, with other members, with other churches to seek a way forward. And all of us, the deacons, the other members, other pastors to whom I've spoken, myself, we would be alarmed if any member of the church became sick and hospitalized with a viral infection. So we must do all that we can to avoid spreading infection. With that in mind, just be aware that things are not immediately returning to normal. One way that things will not be normal is that not everyone will be able to rejoin us. You must consider your own health and the health conditions of the people with whom you live. If you have underlying medical conditions, such as a compromised immune system, heart trouble, lung trouble, diabetes, if you've recently had surgery, you would be safest at home. And I encourage you as your pastor to continue to participate in our services from home. As much as it pains me to say this, the best medical guidelines that we know tell us that people 65 and older should continue to stay at home at this time also. So I'm asking those of you who are 65 or older to continue to participate in our services from home. It pains me to say this because I wish we could all meet in person and we could all meet at one time. But I'm very concerned for the health and safety of every member. And we know that this virus is particularly dangerous to people over the age of 65. Be assured, we will continue to stream the services at the same quality or better if we can than we have been. We have no plans to end or to degrade the quality of the live stream. We want to improve it if we can. So you can be confident that if you choose to participate in our worship services from home, you will have that opportunity. This is a very contagious disease, and we want to remain vigilant. We do not fear the virus, but we do respect it. And you must take responsibility for your own health and the health of your family. If you have any concerns at this time about going out in public, you should stay home and be safe. Now, another way that this will not be normal is that we will not all be able to meet at once, even those that don't fit any of those categories. One way we know we can protect ourselves from this virus is by social distancing. And that means that we can only use about 1/3 of the seats in our auditorium. With 124 seats in there and social distancing, we're not going to be able to fit more than about 30 to 35 people in the auditorium at this time. And that's the reason that we assigned each family to a group. Let's go back to that again, Elsie. We assigned each family to a group, asking those whose last names are A to I to come at 11. If your last name is J to O, please come at 1 p.m. And if your last name is P to Z, again, 5 o'clock for you. Even with those smaller groupings, if the ushers determine that the auditorium contains as many people as is safe, they will turn away anyone who comes after that point. Please respect the usher's decision. We are not planning to turn anyone away, but we must do what is safe. So if you come and the ushers explain that the auditorium is full and that they're turning away anyone else, please return home or watch the live stream from your car. And again, because the situation is not normal, please be flexible and adapt to the conditions as you find them. Now, with that in mind, let me say this. If you or a member of your family has had contact, even inadvertent contact, with someone who has had the COVID-19 virus, we ask you to stay at home. We will continue to have a live stream of our services, and you may participate in this way. At this time, and because of an abundance of caution for your safety and the safety of others, we will be conducting our services differently. As I mentioned before, as much as it pains me to say this, those of you that are older than 65 or living in the same home as someone who is older than 65 should stay home at this time. The virus is particularly dangerous for those who are older. Also, we will not host any children's classes or have a staffed nursery at this time. The nursing mother's room in the back of the main building will be available for mothers to use to change their babies, etc. But we will not host any children's classes. We will not have a staffed nursery. If you have younger children that cannot sit with you through the service, again, please participate with us at home. WT will continue to teach his Sunday school class at 9:45. We are asking you not to participate in person for that Sunday school hour. please stay at home and participate. You may also, if you're coming at the 11 o'clock service, watch the recording of that on Facebook later. We will not sing as much. We cannot fellowship inside the building. All the fellowshipping should take place outside, maintaining a safe distance between families. All the other buildings, other than the main building, will be locked. So the ministry room, the classrooms, the bathroom in the ministry room, and the playground will be closed when you come on Sunday. And regrettably, this is not the time to invite visitors. We ask that only those of you who are part of the Elmira Baptist Church family attend at this time. In the future, as the Lord enables, we will open up our services to visitors again. But you can direct your guests, your friends, to watch our services online. Now, meeting at the church building will require everyone's cooperation. And so when you come to the church building, please observe the following precautions. Before you attend, please wash your hands, and after you return home, please wash your hands. At all times, whether inside the building or outside the building, please maintain a safe distance of 6 feet between families. Obviously, you may stand with members of your own family. But you must always maintain a distance of 6 feet from all others. This includes when you enter the building, when you exit the building. This includes in any hallways, the foyer, in the auditorium itself. Outside when you're fellowshipping, please maintain a distance of 6 feet. The ushers will help us to maintain that distance. So if an usher says, please wait there, please follow the usher's instructions. Also, use only every other parking space. Leave an empty parking space between cars. Because we're attending in smaller groups, there will be plenty of parking. Follow all instructions from the ushers and follow any instructions on the signs that you will see. We will be moving vehicles and people through the parking lot and moving people through the building in a prescribed way. Please wear a mask in consideration of other people when you come. Also, the bathrooms will only be available for emergencies. For a variety of reasons, I am going to shorten the service to between 50 and 55 minutes. We'll reduce the amount of singing, and I'll keep my sermon shorter intentionally. I'm doing this so that we do not need to use the bathroom unless it's an emergency. Take care of that business before you come, and if it's not possible for you to sit through a service for an hour without using the bathroom, it would be best for you to participate from home. The bathrooms will be available, but again, only for emergency use. And we will thoroughly clean and disinfect the bathrooms between each service. Except for the bathrooms, all the doors will be propped open so that people can enter and exit the building without touching anything. If you find a door open, please do not close it. If you find a door closed, please do not open it unless it's an emergency. The ushers will open and close the doors as necessary. If you are sick, or you think you might be sick, if you have a fever, a cough, or you are sneezing, even if it's only allergies, please stay at home and participate in our services from there. You can imagine the consternation of others if you come to a service coughing and sneezing. We will not be distributing any items at the church at this time. We will continue to send you a bulletin by email. Please print it out and bring it to the worship service if you would like a bulletin. We will not be passing the offering plate. An offering plate will be available at the front of the auditorium. You may place your offering in them before the service, or during the offertory, or after the service. But at no time should people congregate around the offering plate to give. You may also continue to give online or by sending your check in the mail. And let me say again, thank you for your faithfulness to give. Again, we cannot guarantee seating for everyone who comes. So when the building reaches a safe capacity, we will ask all others to return home or live stream from their cars, or watch the live stream from their cars. Let me say again that the elderly, that those with a compromised immune system, and those who have health concerns should continue to watch the live stream online. We would be alarmed, very concerned, brokenhearted if anyone who attended our services was infected with the virus. So we need your cooperation to make this safe and to make this possible. Before you come, let me give you a checklist of things to consider. On the morning or the afternoon that you are preparing to come to an in-person service at Elmira Baptist Church, please consider the following checklist. Within the past 21 days, have I or anyone in my family had contact with someone who had or later developed symptoms of the COVID-19 virus? Consider, do I or anyone I have in the family have the following conditions: a compromised immune system, diabetes, chronic respiratory issues, need dialysis, recently had surgery, need to frequently use the bathroom, or have recently been ill with an unidentified disease? If so, please stay home and participate with our services online. Please take your temperature and confirm that you're not running a fever. Then ask yourself, do I or does anyone in my family currently have a fever, have a loss of taste or smell, have unexplained muscle pains, have a sore throat, or feel unwell for any unidentified reason? If you do have any of those symptoms, please stay home and participate with our worship services online. I will be sending out, or Cindy will be helping me, she will be sending out this list of items to you in an email that you will receive later on today. Please read the email carefully. We are not going back to normal. It's not everybody come, just join us this Sunday. It is not that. Please read the email carefully before you come and expect things to be different when you arrive. But I want you to remember, by God's grace and in His timing, if He delays His return, we will meet again under different circumstances. I want to thank you for your attention to my long presentation. We're not done yet. Open your Bible, if you would, to Acts chapter 12. Acts chapter 12. Let me remind you of one more thing before we go. And as you're turning in your Bible to Acts chapter 12, I want to mention that yesterday I misspoke on a couple of prayer requests. First of all, it is not Jennifer Bailey who broke her leg. It is Jennifer Kessler. Forgive me, Jennifers, for mixing you up. Jennifer Kessler broke her leg several weeks ago and is still recovering. She's either in the hospital or in a rehabilitation center. Please pray for her. Second, continue to pray for Ron Ingalls and his wife Linda. He also is in a care center, and that means his wife cannot easily visit him. I also said yesterday that Brenda Shea's surgery was going to be tomorrow. Brenda Shea's surgery is on Wednesday. Brenda Shea will have heart surgery Wednesday, which is now tomorrow. So be praying for her and for Jeff as well. Now here in Acts chapter 12, it says, about that time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. Now you know the rest of the story. Peter escapes because an angel comes and helps him escape from jail. What a great story. The people are praying. He comes and he knocks on the door, and Rhoda, the servant, doesn't even believe it's him, though they're praying for him. She runs in and says, Peter's here, and they don't believe Rhoda, even though they're praying for him. But that's not where I want to focus. I want to focus on verse 2. He, that's Herod, killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. God decides many things for us that are outside of our control. And in this case, God in his wisdom allowed Herod to kill James. But he rescued Peter. I don't think there was something particularly bad with James or something particularly good with Peter. God in His sovereignty sometimes makes choices for us that we don't understand. But we can rest assured that God never makes a mistake. And in this time of crisis, there are some choices that are being made for us that we don't understand. And frankly, I don't like all the choices that are being made for me and for my family. But I can trust God that He will always make the right choice. And that if I'm walking in the Spirit, He will show me how to respond to the choices that are made for me. I hope you'll keep that in mind. And I hope you'll read carefully that email that is coming to you later on today. I pray that God will bless you with peace in a time of tumult, because God is still in control. You'll see me again tomorrow morning.